In the previous episode of Secret Wars, we observed that Doctor Strange informs all the superheroes how, after all the Earths were destroyed, Doctor Doom absorbed the Beyonders' power and with their assistance created a new world, which he named Battleworld. He constructed it from the surviving remnants of those Earths, and to ensure Battleworld operated smoothly, he split it into many kingdoms and appointed a Baron to govern each kingdom. But after the Cabal's arrival on Battleworld, circumstances began to shift significantly for God Doom. The Thors on Battleworld locate the Cabal and engage them in battle, something that Doom observes with his own eyes. But then Stephen Strange arrives there with his superheroes and begins aiding the Thors. Upon seeing Reed Richards among those superheroes, Doctor Doom completely loses his composure and uses his power to reach that battlefield. But upon arriving there, Cyclops, who had absorbed the Phoenix Force, commences attacking Doom, but Doom snaps his neck and kills him on the spot. After witnessing this, Stephen Strange employs his powers to scatter all the superheroes and supervillains present there in various directions. Enraged by this, God Doom eliminates Stephen Strange right there. Now we proceed forward. Our narrative commences at Castle Doom, where Doctor Strange's funeral was taking place. All the Thors and all the Barons of Battleworld were assembled there for this ceremony, but none of them were aware that the cause of Doctor Strange's death was actually God Doom himself. They all step forward to pay their respects at Doctor Strange's statue. Among them, Franklin approaches Doctor Strange's statue, places flowers upon it, and declares, "Just watch, Doctor Strange. Whoever did this to you, I will find them, and then I will crush them into tiny little pieces. You just watch." And God Doom was observing all this with his own eyes. But after the ceremony concluded, God Doom once again comes to Doctor Strange's statue at night, where he encounters Valeria. Upon seeing Doom, she tells him that she couldn't understand how all those people suddenly vanished. To conceal his secret, Doom doesn't reveal anything to Valeria. He simply tells her that he must avenge the death of his best friend Stephen Strange. Valeria tells him that she has some ideas for locating those people, and she wishes to pursue them because she felt that Strange's death was actually her fault, since she was the one who had sent him to that raft from which the Cabal had emerged. According to Valeria, the Cabal was actually responsible for Strange's death. But God Doom tells Valeria that she shouldn't hold herself accountable for this, and should channel her anger to find those people. After hearing this, Valeria departs from there. But Doom looks at Strange's statue and tells him that Strange himself was responsible for all of this. After saying this, he enters the statue through a door built beneath it and descends some stairs, finding himself in a completely white room. But after a while, we all come to realize that Doom was not alone in that room, because there was another person present with him there, whose name was Molecule Man. Upon seeing Doom, Molecule Man says, "Did you bring me something to eat?" Upon hearing this, Doom tells him that he actually had nothing to eat for Molecule Man, because for the past several days, Doom's attention had been focused on something else. And saying this, Doom begins to recall his story. From many years ago, when Molecule Man had come to Doom himself, according to him, the Beyonders had devised a terrible plan in which they wanted to destroy all the Earths in this multiverse simultaneously. To execute this, they created Molecule Man, who was a walking bomb. According to the Beyonders scheme, they dispatched one Molecule Man to every Earth in the multiverse so that he could detonate like a bomb and obliterate that Earth. The Beyonders' plan was to set off all the Molecule Men at the same time, which would cause all the Earths in this multiverse to be destroyed simultaneously. The Beyonders' purpose behind this was simply to observe what would happen if all the Earths in the multiverse were destroyed at the same moment. But the Beyonders overlooked one thing, that Molecule Man was actually a human being, and a human being possesses their own mind. The Molecule Man sent to this Earth knew about the Beyonders' plan and didn't wish to destroy this Earth. That's why he went to Doctor Doom and disclosed the entire plan of the Beyonders to him. In this manner, both of them together began to thwart the Beyonders. But stopping the Beyonders was not so straightforward. Knowing that the Beyonders could annihilate their Earth at any moment, Doctor Doom formulates his own strategy. According to this plan, he creates his own team and names it the Rabum Alal, a team in which there were girls named Black Swan, whose sole responsibility was to visit every Earth in the entire multiverse and stop the Molecule Man there before he could explode. They succeeded to a great extent, as they destroyed many Earth's Molecule Men across the multiverse. But in doing so, they made an error. Upon reaching one Earth, Doctor Doom couldn't prevent its Molecule Man from exploding, and due to his detonation, that Earth destroyed itself. This became the catalyst for all those incursions, because the destruction of that Earth disrupted the equilibrium of the entire multiverse, and the Beyonders' plan was spoiled, because they wanted all the Earths to be destroyed simultaneously. But due to what Earth's destruction, all the Earths started colliding with each other. After witnessing this, Dr. Doom understood that his plan had failed, and now he could not halt these incursions. Because of this, he decides to go after the Beyonders. Meanwhile, they encounter Doctor Strange, who after hearing Dr. Doom's plan, joins his team and begins assisting him in defeating the Beyonders. Upon reaching them, they engage the Beyonders in combat, and Dr. Doom succeeds in defeating them. But after the Beyonders' demise, Doom tells Strange to absorb their power, but Doctor Strange outright refuses to do so, stating that controlling so much power was beyond his capacity. And then Dr. Doom takes this responsibility upon himself, absorbs their power, and using that same power, he combines the surviving remnants of all these Earths and creates Battleworld. But this wasn't sufficient for Doom, because after all those Earths were destroyed, there were some lives he wished to preserve. To accomplish this, he saves those people's lives, erases their memories, and after bringing them to Battleworld, he becomes their god. After concluding this story, God Doom tells Molecule Man that he killed Dr. Stephen Strange. But after hearing this, Molecule Man tells him that he already knew this because merely by looking at Doom's face, he could perceive that Doom was guilty of something. After hearing Molecule Man's words, Doom departs from there. Meanwhile, in Battleworld's Foundation Division, where Valeria had established her headquarters, she gathers her future Foundation members and informs them that she has a plan to locate those people. She shows them a machine that could trace people's energy signatures. After displaying it, she tells them that Doom had created this entire Battleworld, which is why this entire Battleworld and every person on it possessed the same energy that God Doom had. But if any of them utilized too much of their energy, for example, if the Thors employed their powers, then it would appear on Valeria's machine. The reason was simply that her machine could trace every person's energy in Battleworld, except for one Doctor Strange's energy signature. Because Valeria explains that on this entire Battleworld, Doctor Strange was the only person who didn't follow God Doom's energy, and had his own distinct energy. This is why Valeria traces that shortly before his death, Doctor Strange had used his powers. According to her analysis, he had employed those powers to send everyone away from there. But two things she couldn't understand. First, if those people were enemies of Battleworld, why did Doctor Strange attempt to save them? And second, where exactly had Doctor Strange sent them? And then we discover where all those superheroes and supervillains had been scattered across different parts of Battleworld. For example, Jane Foster had reached Doom Garden with all those Thors. Meanwhile, Captain Marvel was captured by Baron Sinister's forces in Bar Sinister. Black Panther and Namor had arrived together. But among them all, only Thanos was the one who had reached the most terrifying location, the opposite side of the shield on Battleworld. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.